James fucking Gunn cooked exactly like I foresaw 3,000 centuries ago. Take back the land that was owned to us. All right, James cooked, bro. Just saw it. So, remember the whole video I made when I said I was going to see it opening weekend? I did not do that. Got busy, traveled, time happened, stuff, but we saw it. And it was amazing. Exactly as I envisioned, bro. Exactly how I envisioned. The movie was outstanding. I'm just going to drop it now. I'm giving it a 9.4 out of 10. Superhero film rating. Okay? I'll give it a 8.7 out of 10 for your normal movie enjoyer. I think your average movie enjoyer will fucking love it. Saw it with my mom. She loved it. And she doesn't really fuck with superhero movies. So that was when I was like, okay, he really did his thing. He's touching everybody. But yeah, I said James fucking Gunn at the beginning because I just saw some shit that YouTube lets you cuss at the beginning. So now we cussing. But nah, bro, I'm actually so hyped. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that it ended up living up to my expectations, that I didn't squander the movie myself. It was funny though. It was a trip. It was hard to get there. Okay, the first time I went to see the movie was yesterday, and about 15 minutes in, the fire alarms went off, and I had to exit. False alarm, it felt like. They kept saying it was a fire, but no one. The fire truck got there and they cleared it in like 5 minutes, and then we went back in the theater, and they're like, "Oh yeah, actually we can't restart it because we have to stay on schedule." The next showing was at 10:45. It was like 7:30. Whatever. I understand. But so I had to go back and see it today, and it was great. So I got to see the first like 15 minutes twice, which was pretty cool, honestly. Gotta get a little rewatch in, make sure I can take some notes. Took no notes, obviously. I'm fucking stupid. I'm just free balling this review like I always do. I always go commando around everywhere I go. Let your nuts hang if you're a real man. Continue. First of all, spoilers. Everything before this you could have heard, but spoilers going ahead. I'm going to be talking about the movie. I'm not going to hold back and try to cover shit up. I just want to enjoy what I just saw and talk about it freely. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, spoilers, don't watch ahead. Let's go. It was great. Like immediately throwing you into the battle with the fucking 3-3-3-3-3 shit. The 3 plus 3 equals 6, so it was a little sinister. I was a little spooked. But then once we got past it, I was alright. But they immediately throw you in. Hammer of Baravia just absolutely slobbered on this fella. Bang. And then my boy has to get sent to his little ice castle. Bang, bang. And then he's getting chased by the one girl who immediately comes. The fucking engineer lady. She immediately is right there, and they're on Superman's ass. Immediately, you're like, damn. Lex got Superman fucking on his booty hole. Like, he is right there on his tail. Ready for Superman to make any minor mistakes. Like, he is just... And then, hold on. Bradley Cooper appears out of nowhere. Alright, I'm going too fast. I gotta hype up my doggy first. Crypto? I love that. I love Crypto. That's my little guy right there. I already knew. You can go watch my old video. I already knew I was going to love Crypto. I didn't think I was going to love him this much. His little badass dog. I love that little badass dog. Causing problems and breaking ribs, trying to jump on Superman every 3 seconds. Biting feet and whatnot. If it wasn't for his little badass, none of this would have been saved. He saved the world. Crypto is the real hero of the film. Alright. Let me relax. That's for later. But, Crypto, cute little fella, thrown in the action. Boom. Go to the place. Boom. Bradley Cooper appears. Where the fuck did Bradley Cooper come from? Shares his little message to Superman. He thinks he's a good guy. I respect that. That's the whole motive of who became Superman. He always thought he was a good guy because of this message that his parents gave him. And so I like that idea that James Gunn played with that. And then they released it later on that this wasn't the intention of the message. That was a big plot when everyone went against Superman, was that he was sent here actually to rule and create a harem. What harem? and, you know, fuck everybody, have little baby kids, and take over the world. Which is crazy. You know, like, the fact they just threw that in, like, the harem shit, just out of nowhere, I was like, oh. And then, like, just, oh yeah, Superman, you're supposed to be evil and take over the world. Like, that was a cool ass, I don't want to say twist, but that was a cool ass plot line. I really liked that. You know, they gave him his whole identity growing up, and if he saw the rest of the message prior to growing up, he might have been a bad dude. He might have fulfilled his mission. You'll never know, because his parents raised him, his Kansas parents raised him to be a good person. So they might have been able to counteract that, but you never know how he would have turned out if the rest of the message was clear. But that was super interesting turn. I didn't realize that would be what was used against Superman. So I like that they did that. And just the overall, we'll keep going on storyline later, but the overall cinematic vision of the film was outstanding. Like, it just looked beautiful. Like, for as comic-y and shitty as it honestly should have looked. So many of the things were such an enormous scale, and so many, like, fights just out in the brightness, just, like, all these fucking colors, all these things happening, like, the scale of the monsters, and the fire, and the laser, like, it should have looked shittier than it was. For so much going on, it looked outstanding. There was rarely any times I was watching it and I was like, that looked like shitty CGI. I gotta slow down a little bit, but I'm amped up for my soupy powers. My soupy powers going through my body got me feeling crazy. But, like, it was great, bro. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful film. Just visually, throughout the whole film, the colors. Immediately, even with the sun coming up at the beginning of the film, and they're announcing the 333 stuff. Just beautiful. That was just a beautiful scenic thing. And the igloo popping up thing, like, that was just beautiful. And the colors throughout, the scene when him and Lois are first talking, and the starfish thing is in the background, and they're fighting with Hawk and the Green Lantern. And they're just sitting there talking on the couch, and that's just in the background with all these rainbow colors and whatnot. That shit was beautiful. Beautiful. The whole film was beautiful to look at, through and through. And so, already, give the cinematography, give the CGI department, give them just a 10 out of 10. I really don't think you can make it look just more visually beautiful than they did throughout the whole film. Everyone's costumes looked good. Everyone's body, if they had special powers, looked great. Like Metamorpho, I think his name is. The motherfucker who has the crazy body and had the kryptonite come out of his fucking fist as he's fisting people. YouTube, I'm sorry about that. Had to let that off. But, but that dude looked great too. And supposedly that wasn't even CGI. That was, obviously his hand was, but that was whatever they call it, where it was like a traditional, someone made it and did makeup and stuff to make him look like that. I forget the word, don't feel like Googling it, but that shit was awesome. He looked great too, and I expected him to look really shitty. But the film looked amazing. The plot line was just great. Lex was fucking insane, and acting was amazing. Everyone acted amazing. Lex being my favorite. He put on a fucking show. Nick, the actor, dude, he was putting in some work. He was fucking amazing. He was outstanding. David, Superman, was outstanding. Everyone really put in just a great act. I don't think there was any character that I thought was miscast or I thought underplayed their role. I think everyone played top notch, played to their role. I like the characters. I like how they all acted. I think the only character that I would say was a little underwhelming was Hawk Girl. And that was only really because she didn't get much time to shine and she didn't really have much input. She was kind of they really minimized her to a really small side character. She had like 2 seconds of shining. But I kind of take that back because when she dropped off that fucking dude and killed him, that was great. I liked her little line there. That was a nice little touch where she took I'm just going to say it because I think it was a pretty close comparison. The little Jewish fucking dictator dude and just dropped his ass. that was Jewish. Okay, the whole Jewish Palestine, that was the Moravia versus whoever else thing. That I don't want to get into politics, but that I like that he took a real life example and used it in the film. People will say he didn't. I think that was pretty much 1-to-1. I think it was pretty obvious that was kind of the situation he wanted to touch on. The overpowered military ganging up on the people who don't have many resources. Trying to take over the country when it's their country. Yeah, so we'll leave that there. But I thought it was interesting that he used it 1-to-1, and I like the relationship that all the people, and I'm just gonna call them Palestine, bro. I don't give a fuck. I don't remember their country name. All the people in Palestine, I like their relationship with Superman. I like that Superman, like when all the kids had to put the little sign up for Superman to come save them. I love that, dude. I love that. Superman. They needed him, man. They needed him. And he wasn't available at the time because he was getting his ass beat by Superman clone. So he had to ship in. Green Lantern and Hawk Girl and my boy Metamorpho. I love Metamorpho, dude. I'm not going to confirm if that's his name or if I'm saying it right, but I'm going to call him Metamorpho. I loved him, dude. Him in the movie, his little baby. I loved how soft he was. He was like, oh, he started crying right when that first dude got shot in the head by Lex. You already could tell he was just a little soft. He was a little soft baby. He didn't want to be in there anymore. He was like, dude, get me out of here. I don't want to hurt nobody. Boy, get me out of here. I feel bad for hurting you, Superman. Good guy, dude. He immediately became a good guy. Him and Lantern, when he's walking, he's like, you really want to add this guy to the team? And he goes, he's ugly. He looked like an ugly guy. We don't want this ugly guy on our team. We don't want him on the what they call him, bro. What was their team? Whatever their team was. This is gonna piss me off. I'm forgetting right now. Super Squad or something. And he immediately looks at him and goes, oh, I like that name. That's a cool name. And he goes, you're on the team. I explained that horribly, but if you know, you know. I don't know. I really love that scene. That scene made me giggle a little bit. But the overall comedic balance of the movie, I thought was really well done. It's really hard to not overdo the comedy in superhero movies nowadays. I really gotta slow down. I am just slurring and fucking stumbling everywhere right now. Whew. I liked the comedic balance of the film. It's really hard to overdo it. It's really easy to overdo it and to make it too goofy, a little corny, or whatever. But I thought they did it perfectly. I thought everyone had a good line. I thought everyone kind of snuck in some good ones. And it was pretty balanced. I don't think anyone was overdoing it too much. Or I don't think there was any scenes that were just like, come on, dude, you ruined the moment. Like, whenever he was building up an emotional moment, he let the emotional moment ride. He didn't ruin it with a comedic thing in that moment. And that's what typically ruins it, is when you're building up a nice, heartfelt moment, and then you ruin it with a comedic moment. Like, dude, let that moment have its time. And so he did that. Like, the scene, let me think about this. The scene, Lois and Superman talking on the couch with the star in the back. They let them have that moment. The moment where they finally come and kiss at the end of the film and he's lifting her up into the air. They let them have that moment. And then right afterward, they go outside and they're like, how long have those three been fucking? Well, 3 months, I think. Like, okay. Like, that's funny. Like, they let them have the moment and then they had a little comedy drop on the back. That's how you do it. That's balance. I didn't give my boy Jimmy and his girl Eve their flowers in this video. I wasn't able to squeeze them in, so I thought it was appropriate, really quick to squeeze them in here. Jimmy was the one who gave the, 3 months joke that I was referencing. He's a great actor. I love this dude. I hope he's in a lot of films to come. For whatever reason, every time he's on the screen, I think he's funny as hell. Great actor. Eve did her thing. She was funny as hell in the movie. Their whole relationship is pretty good little storyline. So I thought I should throw them in really quick. I love them in the film. And that's why James Gunn is so good at what he does, bro. Because he knows that balance. He knows the line. And he just perfectly walks the line. Like, he doesn't overdo it. He doesn't underdo it. He does it perfectly. He matches the vibe. He rides the emotions up or down in whichever way they're going. And I loved Superman, Ultraman, clone. I think I kind of called that. I'm going to have to revisit my video, my video I made before Superman, but I'm like 98% sure I basically called that he was going to be cloned. I don't think it took a genius because the laser eyes was pretty trademark of Superman, so most people probably saw it coming, but I was pretty happy to see it whenever it was like revealed. But he's basically like the dude from Homelander's homie, bro. He's like from The Boys.
Is Laura sleeping?
Oh shit! Sorry, you guys, I'm not gonna let this.
He was just him the whole movie. Up until he revealed that it was a Superman clone, he was just like the Boys character, the one who wears all black and just walks around quietly and doesn't say anything. So I thought that was funny, honestly. I was like, look at the little boys fella around. But let me bring it in. Let me end this mug off. I'm just letting it all go. 16 minutes, bro. I'm just flying through this bitch. 16 minutes went by pretty fast because this was a great film, and I was really excited to talk about it when I got home. Got me a little schmeal. Had to sit on it for a second, try to gather my thoughts about it, and I love it. I think this is exactly what DC needed, and I think DC is back. DC, for the longest time, I barely even wanted to fucking see their movies. And most of the time, I didn't. Because they were dookie water. Like, they just, I don't know. They probably weren't dookie water. They just weren't the vibe I was after. They were just downers, Debbie Downer movies. They were dark. They looked visually cool, but normally the plots were pretty thin. They weren't even, like, people can argue maybe this movie's plot is thin. I think that would be a really bad. I think it was really deep, actually. I think there was a lot that went into it and a lot of different roles, but like, this is a great plot. It had meaning. There was a mission. There was a vision for it. A lot of old DC was just very thin, very just not good. It's not good. I don't know. It wasn't engaging in a way that this was engaging. This movie was fast paced. But it kept you engaged and it kept you connected. It was never so fast that you felt like you weren't in the loop. Sometimes that can happen. That can become a problem when they want to do this fast pace, push you through the film type of moment. But not in this case. In this case, Gunn did a really good job of keeping you in the loop, keeping you up to speed with what was happening, so you weren't missing points or feeling like points were being disregarded or not talked on enough. Like, every part that he kind of planted at the beginning of the film, every question that he kind of plopped in your head the first maybe 30 minutes of the film, he came back around and he wrapped them up pretty much perfectly. There was really no question that I walked out of the theater with that I was like, oh, that wasn't answered. I feel like everything was answered. He did a great job of just bringing it all around, bringing it all full circle. And it was peak, bro. It was peak. I don't know. Peak gets thrown around a lot, but I loved it. And I won't lie, I'm a pretty easy movie enjoyer. I enjoy most films. I truly do. Like, even the films I'm hating on about old DC, I still enjoy them, probably. I never am just like, oh, I hated that. Like, you gotta be a real bad movie for me to be like, I hated that. I'm a pretty going guy. I enjoy most stuff, but the level of this is different. The vision, the cinematography, the CGI, the acting, the actors fitting the role. Every actor fit their role perfectly. Storytelling, the plot. It was great, dude. It was great. The fight scenes were great. Them playing in that little rainbow river, sucking into a black hole. That's hard, bro. That shit was hard. Mr. Terrific, bro, in that scene when Lois was inside the red bubble and he was going around beating the whole camp's ass. That shit was hard. That was one of my favorite scenes in the film, honestly. Like the point of view to Lois and then cutting back out and then dudes coming in and then cutting. Like, it was great. James Gunn delivered, dude. DC is fucking back. And I'm excited because it gives me double the movies that I should be really interested in and excited for. Like, I don't know. Honestly, this is more excitement than I probably had for most of Marvel. Up until they started getting into the later game Avengers. I don't know. James is cooking something, dude. He's got me on board, dude. I haven't been this excited about movies in general, series, like, maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I feel like the hype is out there for a lot of people. I really, really enjoyed the film. I'm excited to see where he takes the rest of the verse. And I think Marvel should be a little scared, but Marvel made a mistake letting him go. After all the Guardians of the Galaxies, and then now this, they are scared. They realize they made a mistake, so Marvel better step their game up. And I'm excited about that. They should feel the pressure to step their game up. And that's a good thing. They haven't had a lot of pressure lately, and I think that's why they got slack. Because they knew DC was shit. But now they have some competition, so Marvel better get back on their A game. So I think this is going to be the tide that lifts all boats, as the people say. Look at me, great philosopher, great knowledge. Look at the monkey hanging. That was crazy. I don't know why. That was crazy. But, Jesus. I don't know where I was going with that. Like, I worded it poorly, but I put him up there and he looked cool. I just wanted to give him his attention, bro. I just put him up there for this video. And I wanted him to get his props, but I worded that crazy. But, great film, bro. I'm really excited to see what happens next. The Supergirl appearance at the end was funny. Made it quick. She came in. She out partying, drinking on the red sun planets. She's off, so we'll see what happens with her. I think that's already starting down a storyline of more traumatic problems, you know. She's not going to be the Tui goo, you know, the goody two-shoes that Superman is. I think he's touched on that before, but her storyline's going to be a little different, a little more serious. So that'll be cool to get like a Superman equivalent, you know, Supergirl, darker path, but in James Gunn's eyes, you know, he won't overdo it when it comes to like everything else. You can have a darker storyline, but keep the pace and keep the lights and the color, and I'm excited to see where he takes that. So let me breathe. Hope you guys enjoyed the film. I really do. I think this was a pretty monumental change for DC, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed it. My whole theater seemed pretty happy after it was over. A few claps went around, and I think the vibe in the air was just nice. It was just good. Like, you finished the film, and you left the theater thinking, that was a good film. That was happy. It came along. It was a great story. It was happy. Makes you feel good. Heading home. Good old Superman. Boy Scout Superman in his red draws. But yeah, Crypto saved the world when he ate all the robot thingies, and Lex no longer had eyes. So shout out my boy Crypto. Shout out my boy Superman. Shout out my boy James Gunn. And I'll see y'all in a different video.
It'd be a shame if someone came back here and oiled me down. I said it would be a shame if someone came back here and oiled me down.
Fuck you! Like, what the fuck?
Cups of the rose.